Okay, I am going to get this started a little bit earlier in case we have problems, but it looks like it's working. Hopefully you can hear me, you can see me. Looks like we're live. Uh, Excellent. Hello and welcome to this week's live Monday Music Motivation. Today we're going to be talking about what to do when you sort of fall off the wagon and how to get back on the wagon, because last week I didn't have a great week of practice, so I'm needing to get back on the wagon myself, and I think it's pretty common. I think it happens to all of us at one point or another, where we have the best intentions heading into the week and then things come up or things shift and it doesn't work out. I also thought it would be a perfect one because I'm also jumping back on the wagon of the live Monday Music Motivation, because last week the technology wasn't working. You may have noticed that there wasn't one, or maybe you even saw a fragment of one when it went live, because I was having weird technology issues where it just did not want to get going and get streaming. But it looks like we're back and working today, so that's fantastic. And hopefully that's a sign that I'll get back and get going on my practice this week as well. Now, last week wasn't a bad week, but I didn't get my practicing in like I had hoped. I filled out my template and sort of had a goal and had some ideas of where I was going, but I never went from the template and actually put it into my calendar. And I think that was a big part of sort of what got in the way and why I didn't follow through with that plan, is because I didn't actually schedule it and I didn't have the time dedicated in my calendar and committed to it. I also got distracted working on a different project, which is also really exciting. I didn't put a link in the description, but you can go to quickstartclarinet.com/test drive, and you can test drive the next generation clarinet method. You hopefully know, if you've seen any of my videos before, you probably know about the next generation clarinet method, which is my method book and whole online program for learning the fundamentals of the clarinet really well and having a strong foundation to apply to everything. And it really covers all of my sort of teaching philosophies, the things that takes me years to get through in private lessons, all sort of condensed into this one program with the PDF method book, videos, timelines, all that good stuff. The next gen test drive is about sort of giving you the overview and the philosophy in a free training. It's about a 2-hour long training. It's almost 2 hours long, and it goes over the sort of core pillars of the full next generation clarinet method and sort of teaches you all about it. So if you've always wanted to have the next generation clarinet method and go through that, this is a great opportunity to almost have the full program for free. Of course, it's not the full program, because the full program's even much bigger than just a 2-hour training. But it sort of teaches you those foundational things and gives you a core understanding of it. So it was a really productive week in that way, which was great. It was not a very productive week in practicing, which is okay, because as we're going through things, you're gonna sort of fall off of the wagon, so to speak. And that's totally normal. And you should expect that and be prepared for that. And don't be hard on yourself. Nobody's perfect and practices every single day, all the time. And even the people who do may not be the very best musicians. I've talked about taking breaks before, and I know lots of really great musicians who take even like month-long breaks. And it's okay to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing that says in order to be a good musician, you have to practice every single day, no matter what. We're all going to have things come up or other things that we're focused on that sort of take our attention away, and that's okay. The one thing that I want you to remember, though, and the big point of this video, is that if that happens, and when that happens, because it's going to happen, you need to make sure that you get back on the wagon. And that's what I'm going to be doing this week, is getting back on the wagon, back on my practice, practicing regularly, getting my clarinet playing, moving forward, finding that motivation of something to work on so that I feel like there's sort of purpose and passion behind practicing. So I'm not just sort of going through the motions and trying to do something just to be doing it. I'm going to be deliberately and intentionally moving forward again, getting back into the routine and the habit of regularly practicing. So I think that's a great segue to the template. There's a link in the description for quickstartclarinet.com/get started if you want to download this template. But I think this is the most beneficial thing and most important thing that you can be doing from this Monday music motivation is filling out the template for yourself and putting it in your calendar. Don't skip that stuff. I skipped that step last week and the practicing didn't happen. So don't skip that step. But here's what the template looks like. And of course, you can make this for yourself or you can download it at quickstartclarinet.com/get started. It's just the date for the week, reflection of how things are going, your goal for the week. And you can see mine is last week was not productive. This week I'm getting back into it. And then what you're going to do. And I'm actually doing exactly the same thing as last week because I didn't really do what I planned last week. I did practice a few times, but it wasn't very deliberate or very productive practicing. It was just sort of warming up a little bit before a lesson or something like that. So that's my plan for this week. I've already put it in my calendar, so the time is there and dedicated and committed, and I'm going to treat it like an important appointment that I can't miss. I can't move. I've scheduled the time. I've dedicated that. So I'm going to do it and I'm going to make it happen. And I'm going to focus on the things that I'm planned to focus on so that I get the benefits that I want to be getting in my clarinet journey and keep moving forward. So I encourage you to do the same. Download the template, fill it out, do whatever you do to normally plan your practice is totally fine. And then make sure to schedule it in the calendar so that you make it happen. Because even if maybe last week wasn't a good week for your practice, you can jump back on the wagon. And even if last week was great, then stay on the wagon and keep going. But if you do fall off this week, that's okay. Even if you don't fall off this week, there's going to be a time when you don't get through it and you don't get into it as much as you're hoping to or as much as you normally like to. You don't need to be hard on yourself about it. You just need to get back to it. So I hope you all have a great week of practicing. If you need a little something to get you motivated or something to work on, to have something to keep that practice going and stay on the wagon, I highly recommend quickstartclarinet.com/test drive. It's all one word, no spaces, to check out the next generation clarinet method test drive. And that's a really awesome training, tons and tons of good information there. Even if you already have the next generation clarinet method, there's actually some good sort of refresher stuff and will be a good way to sort of motivate you to get back into that program, get back on the wagon there as well. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you've maybe had a more difficult week the last week, and if you're recommitted to getting the most out of your clarinet journey. Have a great week of practice, and I will see you next week in the next live Monday music motivation, assuming all the technology keeps working. But I think it worked this time. So have a great week, everybody. Bye.